Some places don't just hold memories, they hold emotions. Fear, pain, sorrow, frozen in time. Oakland may look modern, but beneath its streets lie whispers from the past, shadows that don't move with the sun, doors that creak without wind, and voices, soft and sorrowful, echoing through empty rooms. What if the stories you brushed off as legends were real? In this video, we uncover 5 of Oakland's most haunted locations, each tied to true events and emotional encounters. These aren't ghost tales made for thrill. These are real human experiences, remembered by those who lived through them. If you're into real haunted stories and forgotten places, don't forget to subscribe for more chilling journeys every week. 1. The Pardee Home Museum. The Pardee Home Museum stands like a frozen portrait of the past in downtown Oakland. Built in 1868, it was once the family home of California Governor George C. Pardee. From the outside, it looks like a well-kept Victorian-era mansion. Peaceful, elegant, historic. But those who've stepped inside alone know it hides something else. Something that still lingers for years. Staff and volunteers at the museum have quietly whispered about strange happenings. Doors that shut on their own. Footsteps echoing in empty hallways. Cold spots in rooms where there shouldn't be any draft. But it's what happened to a young museum intern named Melissa in 2016 that gave the place its most chilling reputation. Melissa was a college student doing a history internship. She loved old houses and was excited to help catalog the museum's archives. One afternoon, she stayed late alone while working in the upstairs study room. The sun had already dipped below the trees. The house was quiet, too quiet. As she was scanning documents, she heard what sounded like soft footsteps upstairs above her, but no one else was in the house. She froze. The boards creaked slowly, like someone pacing, then a muffled thump. It was coming from the nursery, a room known among staff to feel strangely heavy. She climbed the stairs slowly, calling out, "Hello?" No answer. When she reached the nursery, the door was wide open. Inside, the rocking chair was gently moving back and forth, as if someone had just gotten up. Melissa said she felt an overwhelming pressure in her chest, like she couldn't breathe. Her eyes began to tear up, not out of fear, but out of a deep sadness she couldn't explain. She left the room, shaking, and never worked another late shift again. She wasn't the only one. One of the museum docents once admitted that she refuses to walk past the upstairs hallway alone. "You just know you're being watched," she said. "It's like the house remembers." According to local lore, one of the Pardee daughters died young in the house. While there's no official death certificate on site, rumors say she was sick for months and passed away quietly in her room, the same nursery Melissa had entered. Whether it's the lingering grief of the Pardee family or something else entirely, one thing is clear. The Pardee home is more than just a museum. It's a place where the past is still alive, and sometimes it wants you to feel it. 2 Claremont Hotel Club and Spa. The Claremont Hotel sits high in the Oakland Hills, looking more like a fairy tale castle than a haunted location. Built in 1915, it was once a luxury escape for San Francisco's wealthy elite. Today, it's known not just for its beauty, but for the ghosts that never checked out. Locals and staff have whispered for decades about room 422, a room tucked away on one of the upper floors. Strange things happen there. Lights flicker, phones ring with no one on the line. Guests complain of being watched while they sleep. But nothing compares to what happened to Mr. Andrew Foster in 2013. Andrew, a visiting writer from Colorado, booked room 422 for a peaceful 3-night stay. He was researching historic hotels across America, and the Claremont seemed perfect. The first night passed without incident, but the second night changed everything. Around 2 a.m., Andrew was woken by the sound of soft humming, not from the hallway but from inside the room. He sat up, thinking maybe he left the television on, but the screen was black. Then he saw her. A woman in a white gown stood near the foot of his bed. Her back was turned. Her hair was long, dark, and slightly curled. She didn't move, didn't breathe, just stood, humming a slow, sad tune. Andrew later wrote that he couldn't move, not out of fear but something else. It wasn't just terror, he wrote. As he tried to call out, the woman slowly turned her head. Not her whole body, just her head. Unnaturally slow, and then vanished into thin air. Andrew left the hotel the next morning, shaken, pale, and sleep-deprived. He didn't stay the third night. In his travel blog, he wrote, "That hotel is beautiful, yes, but there's something still living in room 422, something that remembers." Staff at the hotel don't openly talk about the ghost, but one former employee anonymously confirmed, "We don't book 422 unless we have to. Guests either leave early or they don't sleep." Some believe the ghost is the spirit of a woman who took her own life in that room during the 1942nd, after losing her fiancé in World War II. Others say she simply never left. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear. The Claremont Hotel is more than a luxury landmark. It holds a sadness, a haunting, and a woman who still sings in the dark. 3. Mountain View Cemetery. Mountain View Cemetery isn't your typical graveyard. Its massive 226 acres of peaceful hills, old tombstones, and views that stretch across the bay. Many of California's most prominent historical figures are buried here. But among the quiet graves and winding paths, there's one presence that refuses to rest. By day, the cemetery is serene. Birds chirp, families leave flowers, tourists admire the architecture. But after sunset, it becomes something else entirely. And no one knows that better than Julia Martinez, a local college student who experienced something she never forgot. Julia had a photography assignment in 2018, capture historic locations in unique lighting. She chose Mountain View Cemetery and arrived just before golden hour. She walked for over an hour, admiring the Gothic tombs and statues, taking photos. As the light faded, she noticed a side path leading toward an older section of the cemetery, one she hadn't explored. She followed it. What she found was a circular space, surrounded by crumbling gravestones. A marble angel stood in the center. As she lifted her camera to take a shot, something flickered through her viewfinder. She lowered it. Nothing. She lifted it again. And there it was, a figure. At the edge of the frame, standing still. Julia turned around, no one there. But in the lens, she could still see it. A tall, shadowy figure, no face, no color, just darkness. Standing perfectly still. Just beyond the graves. I froze. She later told a local paranormal podcast. My hands went cold, like ice. And I felt, not fear exactly, more like my brain was trying to protect me from knowing what I was really seeing. She blinked, Looked again. It was gone. Julia left the cemetery in silence. When she got home, she reviewed the photos. In one, barely visible in the corner, was that same figure, blurred but unmistakable. She deleted the picture the next day. "I didn't want proof," she said. "Some things are better left unseen." Longtime cemetery workers have heard similar reports. Shadowy figures, sudden cold spots, whispers with no source. One groundskeeper said, "You can feel it sometimes, like someone standing just behind you, watching." Some say the figure is one of the Civil War soldiers buried there. Others believe it's a lost mourner, someone still searching for a loved one, even in death. Whatever it is, those who've seen it agree on one thing: it only appears when you're alone. And when you do see it, it never blinks. 4. Dunsmuir-Hellman Historic Estate. The Dunsmuir-Hellman Historic Estate is one of Oakland's grandest buildings. A 37-room neoclassical mansion surrounded by sweeping lawns and dense trees. Built in 1899 by wealthy coal baron Alexander Dunsmuir, it was meant to be a dream home. But dreams can sour, and some say the house never let go of its past. Visitors admire its architecture. It's used for weddings, film shoots, even ghost tours. But behind its elegant curtains, strange things are said to happen. Cold spots, phantom footsteps, lights flickering in locked rooms. It's what happened to a wedding photographer named Caleb R. in 2019 that left the strongest impression. Caleb had been hired to shoot a small afternoon wedding at the estate. After the event, guests left and the staff were cleaning up. Caleb stayed behind to capture a few empty mansion shots for the couple's album. Dramatic lighting, shadowy hallways, artistic frames. It was just before sunset when he heard something upstairs, a faint piano sound. But there was no piano upstairs. The only one was in the main parlor. He paused, thinking someone was playing music through a phone. Then he heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, moving just above him. He grabbed his camera and quietly walked up the grand staircase. The hallway upstairs was dim, and every door was closed except one. The door to the master bedroom, slightly ajar, creaked as he pushed it open. The air felt heavy. Still, inside, the room was empty, but the curtains gently swayed, even though the windows were shut. That's when I felt it. Caleb later shared in a YouTube interview. Not fear, not right away. Just this intense sadness. Like the room was remembering something painful. As he lifted his camera to take a photo, he saw movement in the mirror. A figure dressed in black, standing behind him. He spun around. No one was there. He rushed out of the room, heart pounding. When he checked the photo he had taken, the mirror in the background clearly showed a shadow. Tall, faint, but unmistakably human. He never sent that photo to the bride. Some believe the spirit belongs to Josephine Dunsmuir, Alexander's wife, who died in the mansion under mysterious circumstances. Others say it's Alexander himself, whose health was failing even as the house was being built. He died before ever living in it. Whatever the truth, many agree. The Dunsmuir estate is beautiful, but broken. A place frozen in grief where echoes of the past still walk the halls and mirrors show things your eyes can't. 5. Peralta Hacienda Historical Park. The Peralta Hacienda Historical Park in Oakland is a peaceful place. By day, families walk the trails, kids laugh near the gardens, and school groups tour the historic 19th century adobe house. But those who stay past sunset say the energy changes, and some never forget what they experienced. The original adobe home on this land was built in the 1822 by the Peralta family, one of the earliest Spanish settler families in California. Generations lived and died on this land, and much of that history still hangs heavy in the air. But it wasn't the house that scared local volunteer and history enthusiast Lena Ramirez in 2015. It was something in the garden. Lena had been volunteering at the park for 6 months. She helped with visitor tours, and on some days, she stayed behind to clean and organize artifacts inside the home. That October evening, she was the last one there. The sun had dipped, and the garden behind the adobe house was bathed in that golden twilight glow. Lena stepped outside to lock the back door when she heard humming, a child's voice, soft and familiar. She looked around. No one. The humming continued. A melody, not modern, something like a lullaby. Suddenly, she saw movement near the tall tree at the back of the garden. A girl, no older than 10, dressed in a pale white dress with dark hair, standing still, looking at the ground. I thought maybe someone had left their kid behind. But when I called out, she didn't respond. She didn't even move. Lena stepped toward the girl. Just a few feet away, she blinked, and the girl was gone. Terrified, Lena ran back into the house and locked the door. But the humming continued. She sat frozen in the front parlor, clutching her phone, unsure whether to call someone or run. After 10 minutes, the sound stopped. The air felt lighter, but something inside her had changed. Later, she told the park coordinator. He didn't seem surprised. "Yeah," he said quietly. "We've heard about her. Some say it's the spirit of one of the Peralta children. They lost a few young ones back then. Fevers, accidents. Some think she never left. Staff don't advertise the haunting. It's not part of the official tour. But those who know the land's history believe the energy lingers, especially near the garden. And every so often, when the wind is still and the sky is turning orange, some say you can hear her, the little girl, humming to herself, waiting for someone who never came."